No straight lines. We're navigating Bitcoin's path to new heights. Hey guys, it's Keith Allen. Got a good analysis for you today. Actually, I think this one's going to be really good because I just did a full rehearsal accidentally. I literally just did the entire analysis, went to end the stream and realized I didn't actually start the stream. So I'm well rehearsed for this one, guys. So let's get right in. Before I start, just real quickly, if you like the analysis, please do me a favor, smash all the buttons and subscribe so you never miss an analysis. I'm back to doing these here regularly. So I appreciate you guys following along and supporting me through these. Keep it coming. Keep the comments coming. And definitely smash the likes and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an analysis. So let's do this. So after Monday's analysis, I went in depth on this whole cup and handle pattern. And I have a member of our Telegram community, our Material Indicators Telegram community, which is phenomenal, by the way. I've got a link to join it in the description. And by the way, written descriptions always in the YouTube version of the live stream. Every time I will add it into the X version as soon as this ends here. Okay, so that's just how the software works, way it's got to be. In any case, the question was if my perspective about resistance above 70K has changed, and the simple answer is that my short-term view has changed, but my long-term view has not. So in this analysis, I'm going to show you the things I'm seeing develop in the charts that have given me reasons to add to my position and adjust my targets. And of course, as always, I'm going to show you what I think could happen potentially in both directions as we wait for this price action to develop. So the first thing I want to discuss with you is the structure here, this classic mega monstrous cup and handle over 2 years and 8 months in the making and still counting here, right? So this is not your average run-of-the-mill cup and handle. This is a mega structure here. And so mega structures have the potential to give us mega results. What we're seeing now here is the handle develop here on this structure. And technically, this handle could go 2/3 deep on the structure, which would get us like way down here into this 30K range. I honestly don't think that's likely at this point. Not impossible, but not a high probability at this point based on some of the things that I'm seeing in the charts. So I want to show you the things that I've seen develop here recently that have got me into this way of thinking. And the first thing was a near miss on an RSI on the weekly chart. I have this level down here at 42 that I watch very, very closely on the weekly. Historically, anytime we're above this line, the market is doing well, trending upward. And anytime that we lose this line, well, the market seems to trend downward. And you can set that on your own chart and you can look at that through the history of Bitcoin. It just seems to work. So there's that. And then the second thing is we absolutely narrowly escaped a death cross between the 21-day and the 200-day moving average. This is another one that every time it has happened in history, it's been ugly. I mean, like really ugly. Anytime that the 21 and the 200-day moving average is death cross, we go down deeper. So you can also look at that on your chart on your own and don't need me to waste time in the stream to do that. So let's go back to the structure here. So those are the two bullets that we dodged that I was concerned about. The next thing was liquidity movement that I saw happening here in fire charts. And as you can see, we have a new ladder coming in right here to kind of maybe hold things up here at this range and keep things moving up. But let's widen out a bit to maybe the monthly even, where you can see, the first thing noticeable on the upside is we had large blocks of liquidity disappear at key levels that were resistance for a long time. And sure, that resistance is still there. And sure, there's a lot in this range here, including, new ladders. But we've seen some liquidity pull. We've seen some move. And so we have to be in tune to all of that. We actually have more even developing up here in the 80K range. If I go out even wider, I'll bet we see a block. Look at this. So even some moving up higher to 80 and higher. Let's actually zoom way out and see how high it goes. Um, looks like, at least on this view, and there's probably more in there, but at least on this view, it looks like we have a nice block coming in here in the 80K range and laddering up to 85 and higher. So that's interesting to note, right? We had support come in down here at 40. We have asks laddered up higher than 85K at this point. So that's changing a bit as well. But you can notice how this area, right? It was very congested here in terms of the strength of the ask liquidity, and it has now started to diffuse. Some has rained down into this active trading zone, and some has moved up, some has disappeared. Whatever the case, it's getting easier to cut through this because it's easier to cut through a ladder of diffused liquidity than it is to get through big heavy walls. So keep that in mind. Back to what I was seeing here. I was seeing this stair stepping, right, of bid liquidity moving price and pushing price up. So that's good to see, in my opinion. And so even though some of this is evaporating down here, I think it's evaporating because sentiment is evaporating for these lower ranges. Sure, we could still go down there, and there's still some down to hold there. And I think this is really still within the realm of possibilities. Remember, this is the no straight lines analysis. So sure, it's possible that we could do that and the structure still stays intact. But what's happening right now, I think, is very, very interesting. And that is that we have not only narrowly escaped this death cross right here, we've recently flipped resistance at the 50-day and 100-day moving averages, which had their own death cross, by the way. Now, this is getting tested right now. This is going to be interesting to see if this holds. If it does, you can see it's actually making. If the 50 holds, then this would be our first higher high since literally we made the all-time high at 73,800. Okay, because we went lower, lower low, lower low. I mean, this was a lower low by just a few bucks, but it was a lower low. And so this is our first sign of digging out of this trench here. Whether this holds here, very, very important, at least for the short term. Long term, as long as we're, as long as this stays intact and we don't death cross down here, I think we're going to be okay. So we talked about the structure. We talked about dodging bullets. We talked about no straight lines. Where could we go if things break down? If things break down, and there's always that possibility, then obviously I look to these prior areas of support. The 21 and the 200-day moving average, I'd really like to see them not death cross. We could potentially squeeze past that. And I think that this is an interesting area here as well. If we look on the weekly time frame, you could see that we have some confluence here between weekly closes here on this 48K level, and you see that also has confluence with the 50-week moving average. So that's an interesting target. If we should go down there, I would really like to see it resolve back above the 50K range pretty quickly. Otherwise, I think it's going to be really difficult to work our way back through that. Not impossible, just difficult. And that could potentially put this 42 level on the RSI in jeopardy. So those are the things I'm watching to the downside. To the upside, how far could we go? Well, let's see. And of course, we have this trend line in the way in the scheme of things too that could be potential support at any time along the way. When we get to September, that has confluence right here with this 48K level that we talked about. To the upside, the way we forecast a cup and handles potential is with a measured move on a log chart. We do it with a percentage based move. So we see 77% to the downside. Well, let's see what this looks like to the upside. I'm gonna move this down a little bit and let's build let's just draw a line here. So there may be some dispute over how I draw my cup and handle. I drew mine to the prior all time high because that's where the structure was for me, and then maybe it would be more correct to draw it to the current all time high for the breakout. We're a couple we're a couple $1,000s apart, so wherever that is, that puts us in the 122 to 125K range. I mean, this could really, we could say it's the 120 to 130K range, as far as I'm concerned, and still be, I'd be happy with that. Doesn't mean that we're going to 125K. It means that this particular measured move from this particular structure has the potential to go that high and potentially higher. But this is how you forecast it based on the rules of technical analysis. Doesn't mean we make it there. This structure could invalidate and we could get rejected and go straight down. So that's what we're watching. What I'm expecting is to run into some resistance, right? We know that this area has been tough. We know we have resistance here. Maybe we come down a little bit and, are we going to make a lower low, or are we going to start making higher lows and come back and revisit this range? We could chop in here for a bit, right? This would certainly be within the realm of possibilities to fight through this range before potentially resolving our way out of this. So that's what I'm looking at. That's my perspective. You may have a different one, but hopefully I'm giving you some things to look at that can help you prepare for this in both directions. I think that this is not a time for FOMO. It's never a time to FOMO. I think it's a time to identify setups, let price come to you, and it can be difficult to pinpoint those targets when the price action is doing what it's doing, especially when we see all of the liquidity movement that we're seeing here recently. So identify your targets. I personally like to scale my way in and out of positions, so you may find that helpful to kind of scale your way in. The way I do it is I place my larger orders at lower prices, my smaller orders at higher prices, and dollar cost average my way in. You do, like I said, what works for you. I'm not sharing advice. I'm just sharing opinions and the strategies that work for me that I'm comfortable with. You have to do what's comfortable for you. Going to wrap it right there, guys. If I see anything developing throughout the day, I'll do my best to keep you updated along the way. If you want to join any of the channels or pick up any of the products, links are in the description below. Thanks again for following along. Do me a favor, if you like the streams, smash all the buttons, hit the subscribe so you never miss another one, and we'll talk at you again later. Make it a great day.